Hello everyone, my name is Marco Matarese and I am a PhD student at the University of Genova and Italian Institute of Technology. I'm here to present to you our last work about a user-centered framework for explainable artificial intelligence in human-robot interaction. AI techniques have reached an impressive complexity. Researchers find every day more and more application to AI in our society, but this phenomenon raises some issues, both ethical and practical. In particular, end users need transparency, which means that they need to understand the rationale behind AI system decisions. This is one of the goals of XAI. However, first attempts to XAI have been taught by and for expert users. But the more AI goes out from laboratories, the more those attempts become outdated. In recent years, researchers noted that the explanations, especially for end users, should be inserted in interaction framework. So XAI have to comply with the rules of such a framework. But the question now is, where should we get this framework? Well, Tim Miller proposed to take insights from social sciences. Because we explain ourselves every day with other people, so robots should exploit these habits and expectations in XAI scenarios. For this purpose, we designed a theoretical framework for XAI in HRI that uses those insights. First of all, at least two agents are involved: the explainer, who explains, and the explainee, who asks for and receives the explanation. We focused on post hoc explanation, which are those asked after the action has been executed. So after the robot's action, the user asks for explanations. Then, the robot should interpret such a request, choose an explanation to give, and finally communicate it to the explainee, deciding both the shape of the explanation and the communication modality. Then after, the explainee should interpret the explanation, reducing the gap between the robot's action rationale and their understanding of such a rationale. The explanation generation module is the core of the framework. It consists of 3 steps working cascade. It takes as input the request for explanation in terms of a fact and foil. The former is what happened, while the latter is what the user expected to happen. The first step aims at finding causalities between the fact and foil, and also the robot's objectives are used for this purpose. So, the first step produces a set of causal chains that brings together fact and foil. The second step selects a subset of the causal chains previously produced. This selection focuses on the user's information needs and the robot's and environment states. We call this step setting the context because only the causal chains that seem appropriate, so that fit the context, would pass this selection. Finally, if more than one causality is passed, a filtering is applied. Such a filtering should comply with heuristics inspired by cognitive sciences, such as preferring more recent causes above more distant ones, or prefer more controllable causes above non-intentional ones. To summarize, our framework emphasizes the social interactive aspect of XAI. We define it as user-centered for 3 main reasons. Considering the environment state, it considers also the effect of users' action on it. The user information needs are crucial in selecting the more appropriate explanation, and uses human-inspired heuristics to select explanation above multiple choices. Thank you all for your attention, and if you have questions or suggestions, feel free to ask or contact me.